Death. The very word shakes the human heart. It brings with it an unknown fear, a silence that cannot be expressed in words, and a mystery that has remained unsolved for ages. From kings and emperors to saints and common people, no one has ever been able to escape death. It comes uninvited, often unexpected, and takes away everything we hold on to in this world. Yet Paramahansa Yogananda, one of the greatest spiritual masters of modern times, gave us a new understanding of death. He explained that death is not the end of existence, but a doorway to a greater reality, a transition from one state of being to another. When Yogananda spoke about death, his words were not merely philosophical speculations. They were revelations that came from direct spiritual experience. He had meditated deeply, transcended the boundaries of the body, and experienced the truth of the soul. Through his insights, he explained that death is not something to be feared, but something to be understood, accepted, and even embraced as a divine mystery. Let us enter this journey and discover what truly happens after death, according to Yogananda's timeless wisdom. From the very beginning, Yogananda emphasized that the soul is eternal. The body may die, the breath may stop, the heart may cease to beat, but the essence that animates us, the soul, cannot perish. He often said, "You are not the body. You are not the mind. You are the immortal soul." Death is nothing more than a separation of the soul from the temporary garment of the body. Just as we change clothes when they are old or torn, the soul changes bodies when the physical form is no longer fit to sustain life. This truth is echoed in the Bhagavad Gita, a scripture Yogananda often quoted. Just as a man casts off worn-out clothes and puts on new ones, so the soul casts off the worn-out body and enters a new one. In this simple metaphor lies the key to understanding death. The body is like clothing, and the soul is the eternal wearer. To mistake the body for the self is to live in illusion. To know the soul as our true identity is to transcend the fear of death. But what exactly happens at the moment of death? Yogananda described it as a gentle withdrawal of life force. The soul begins to pull its energy back from the senses, from the limbs, from the organs, and finally from the brain and heart. For the one who has lived unconsciously, this may feel like pain or confusion. But for the yogi who has practiced meditation and awareness, death can be as natural and effortless as falling asleep. In fact, Yogananda often compared death to sleep. When we sleep, the body lies still, but our consciousness continues in dreams. Similarly, in death, the body becomes lifeless, but the soul continues its journey into another realm of existence. After death, the soul does not vanish into nothingness. It enters the astral world, a subtler dimension made of light and energy. Yogananda described the astral world as a place of unimaginable beauty, more real than the physical world. There, thoughts create reality instantly. The soul is no longer bound by the heavy limitations of flesh, but moves freely in a body of light, called the astral body. This astral body retains the impressions, desires, and tendencies that the soul carried during earthly life. For souls who have lived selfishly, tied to material desires, the astral world may reflect their inner bondage. They may feel restless, longing for what they left behind. But for souls who have lived with love, truth, and purity, the astral world becomes a paradise of peace and joy. Yogananda explained that there are countless astral regions, some higher, some lower, depending on the spiritual evolution of the soul. Just as in this world we find people of different states of consciousness, so too in the astral world, souls dwell in places that match their inner nature. One of the most comforting teachings of Yogananda is that death does not separate us forever from those we love. The bonds of true love are not broken by death. Love is a vibration of the soul, and it transcends the physical body. When we lose someone dear, their soul continues to exist in the astral plane, and often they watch over us, sending silent blessings. Sometimes in dreams or moments of deep meditation, we may feel their presence. This is not imagination. It is the subtle connection of soul with soul. Yogananda also revealed that the process of rebirth follows after the astral sojourn. When the lessons of one life are incomplete, the soul is drawn again into a new body to continue its journey of growth. Just as a student who does not complete one grade must return to study again, so too the soul reincarnates until it achieves wisdom, freedom, and union with God. Rebirth is not punishment but a divine opportunity to learn, to expand, and to realize the truth of our eternal nature. But Yogananda did not stop with describing what happens after death. He showed us how to prepare for it. He urged us not to wait until the last moment, but to live every day with awareness of the soul. Through meditation, prayer, and righteous living, we can gradually overcome the fear of death. When the mind is calm, when we live with love for God and service to others, then death loses its terror. It becomes a homecoming, a return to the source. Yogananda himself demonstrated this truth. On March 7, 1952, at the Biltmore Hotel in Los Angeles, he gave his final speech about India and America, ending with a poem of love for his homeland. As he finished, he raised his eyes to the divine, and with a blissful smile, he consciously left his body. Witnesses saw him fall to the floor in perfect stillness. His passing was not an accident, not an illness, but a conscious exit, a great yogi's final lesson to the world. Even more astonishing, his body showed no signs of decay for weeks after his death, an unprecedented phenomenon recorded by the mortuary director. This was Yogananda's living proof that the soul is beyond death. The greatest message Yogananda gave regarding death is that there is no reason to fear it. Fear comes from ignorance, from identifying with the perishable body. The moment we realize that we are the immortal soul, the fear of death dissolves. Instead, we begin to live with courage, freedom, and joy. Life itself takes on a new meaning when we know that it is part of an eternal journey. Think about it. If you knew that death is only a doorway to another life, would you still cling so desperately to material possessions, to ego, to anger and hate? Number, you would live differently. You would love more, forgive more, and seek truth with greater sincerity. Yogananda wanted us to live with this awareness. For him, spirituality was not an escape from life, but a way to enrich it, to see it in the light of eternity. Death, then, is not a tragedy. It is a teacher. It teaches us that nothing in this world lasts forever. It reminds us to value the soul, to awaken to the divine purpose of life, and to prepare for that conscious death, we must practice conscious living. Meditation, self-control, kindness, devotion, and above all, remembrance of God. So what happens after death? According to Yogananda, the soul moves into another plane of existence, carries on its learning, and eventually returns to earth if necessary. Dear listener, the next time the thought of death frightens you, remember Yogananda's words. Death is the great reminder that you are not the body, you are the immortal soul. Live with this truth, and death will no longer be your enemy. It will be a silent friend, guiding you back to your eternal home in spirit.